Welcome everyone to this episode of Manufacturing Talk Radio. I'm Tim Grady. I'm here with Lou Weiss, who's the founder of Manufacturing Talk Radio. He's also the president of All Metals and Forge Group that currently sponsors Manufacturing Talk Radio. If you're looking for open die forgings or seamless rolled rings, check them out at steelforge.com. Joining us today is Mark Fleming, who is the president of the Academy of Business Training. Mark, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And I thank you as well.
Well, thank you as well.
Glad to have you on the show. Give us an idea, because it sounds really interesting. And by the way, I'm on your LinkedIn page. I encourage people to go to your LinkedIn page and read your post. It's a 6-minute read. Learn a bit more, but share with us the Academy of Business Training.
Well, the Academy of Business Training was basically formed after I had about a 40-year run with construction and manufacturing. Basically started it just to have something to do in retirement. It has now grown to be one of the leading U.S. providers of short-term manufacturing training. When we say short-term, we're talking 1 to 5 days, because most people don't have time to spend 6 months in a class going 1 hour a week or something like that. So that's the reason I went with the short-term program. We provide a full range of manufacturing training. We have a production planning class, warehouse management, supply chain management, lean training, Six Sigma, and then we have a suite of leadership classes for supervisors, managers. We have an operations and plant manager leadership training class. So it's a pretty comprehensive set of courses for manufacturers to get them up to speed with best practices.
How do you do that in 5 days?
Well, it varies on the course. I mean, the course is each day is 8 hours. So if you take a typical college course, it's 1 hour, 2 or 3 times a week for 3 to 4 months. So
right.
We just cover it all in a matter of a few days. And you have to understand that college courses typically are set up for people that have no experience. Everybody that takes our course has generally 10 to 15 years of experience. So you don't have to explain the fundamentals to them. They know the fundamentals. What they're looking for are best practices.
That's interesting. It's interesting. So, and how big are your classes?
Well, one of the things that I wanted to fix when I started this school, when I was sending my people to training, I typically was not happy with the results. There were three issues that I wanted to fix. Issue number one was the qualifications of the instructors. Most instructors in business training, it's a fallback position for them. They're there because they can't find work in whatever it is they're supposed to be good at, which then begs the question, why am I sending my people to be trained by somebody I probably wouldn't hire? So the requirement to train here, they have to have a minimum of 30 years business experience and at least 5 years in a senior management position for whatever course they're teaching. Problem number two was class size. We'd send people to class. There'd be 10, 15, 20 people in the class. We even sent a group to one class and there was 200 people in it. It was a Microsoft class. You're not going to learn anything in that kind of an environment. You can't ask questions. You can't have your particular issues addressed. So what we do is our public classes and webinars are limited to 4 to 6 students. If we do on-site training, we'll allow up to 12 under the theory that the people all know each other and are focused on the same problem. So you can allow more in an on-site group training. The third problem that I wanted to address was we would jump through all the hoops to schedule a flight, book a hotel, book a car, schedule somebody to fill in for somebody for the company to cancel the course a day or two before it was supposed to take off because they didn't have enough students. And so the way I fixed that is we've never canceled a class in the whole 13-year history of the school. The only thing we had to do was during COVID, we had to switch people that were scheduled for public classes to the webinar. So we never really canceled a class. We just shifted people to the webinar. So those are the 3 issues that I wanted to fix when I started the school.
So you travel all over the country?
Yeah, we'll send instructors any place that's deemed safe by the U.S. State Department. Um, Biggest share of our training is done on site. Most companies want the instructor to be there. We usually, the instructors get there a day or so early to get the nickel tour, so they can see what they're working with. If they're doing warehouse management training, to tour the warehouse. If they're doing production planning training, to take a look at the production facilities, their production lines, and how they're set up, which gives them a better understanding of what problems the company is facing.
Mark, many of the educational programs to skill people up contain a certificate that you can get at the end of the course, or CEUs, continuing education units. Does the Academy provide either of those?
We do. On completion of all our courses, you get a certificate of completion. Our accounting and treasury courses offer CPE credits, which are for CPAs, continuing education for CPAs, and we offer that. There really aren't any. I mean, there are some companies that issue credits, but the credits are kind of a bar to entry. It's kind of a old boys network, and it's designed to keep companies coming into it. They've set it up themselves. They've created their own certification system, and quite frankly, any certification is only as good as the company offering it. So if you're looking into training, you want to look into the background of the school. One of the things that I highly recommend is ask to see the instructor's resume. That's where you're going to expose these companies that are hiring people that just can't get a job anywhere. And that's what you want to avoid. You want to get somebody that's got a lot of experience working, doing the things that you need your people trained on.
Are your instructors contract instructors, or do they work?
No, they're full-time. We don't play the adjunct instructor role where people fly in and out. Our people are all full-time. They're all either at or ready to retire. Like I said, they've got to have a lot of background to teach here. They have to know what they're doing. They have to be able to pass on practical information to the students. We want our students to get value from the training they've received. And with the evaluations and reviews we get, it's rare that we have a student that's dissatisfied. And if they do express dissatisfaction, we reach out and try to resolve whatever, wherever they thought the course failed. We try to reach out and try to understand that, correct whatever failing they thought we had, and then move on. And I think that's the way we've built the school up over time. It's unusual for something like that to happen now. Early on, when we're trying to figure out how to do this, we would get students that would say, well, I thought this should be covered or that should be covered. And as we've gone through time, we've adopted those things within the courses so that they're pretty comprehensive now, and they don't leave really anything out.
So if I ever change my mind about retiring, I can get a job with you, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think you'd probably be qualified.
Thanks. Thank you.
Forgings.
Well, it would probably have to be about marketing, which is what I primarily do. As you could tell from Manufacturing Talk Radio, we have 4 other podcasts, which we only run them, we don't host them.
Well, and I think those things are important, because when you look around, if you're trying to find training for people, it just is almost non-existent, or it's an online course where you don't get to interact with an instructor. There's just all kinds of downsides to the most of the training that's out there. That's why I was so disappointed when I was sending my people. I was very rarely satisfied with the end results. So that's, like I said, that's why I started the school. I wanted to fix those problems and provide, the resources for companies to get the training that they really need.
So Mark, walk our listeners through a course or two or a study group or two of what course they can take and what they can expect to learn.
Well, probably our most popular course is production planning. And we go over the fundamentals. We talk about the course starts off with the latest technologies, 3D printing, the different robotics. We discuss blockchain, try to give students an understanding of the technologies that are out there that are available to them. Most of the companies that take the training, they're totally unaware of a lot of the new technologies. I tell my students, if there's a process within your operation that you want to automate, the odds are probably 99% that technology already exists. It's just a matter of finding it and understanding it and adopting it and using it. So we start off with kind of the big picture in production planning. Then we go into like the different things like the master schedule. We talk about ERPs, MRPs. We get into the primary thing that manufacturers have to understand is, for quite some time, it's been make to stock. Everything you would go work on a forecast, you would make quantities based on that forecast, and then you would sell from those. Well, there's been a monumental shift in the industry. Companies are going to make to order. We don't want to make something until we actually have an order for it. So in order to enable us to do that, we have to begin to work to create what's called supply chain visibility. We need technology to be able to see what's going on at the point of the end user, usually the consumer, or it might be a business to business. Now you can look at like Walmart and Amazon and the big national chains. They are in the process. They are in the early stages of this. They already have their cash registers, their point of sale equipment where the sale takes place. Everything is barcoded. It's scanned into that system. That system then their distribution center can get in there and pull that information out and then restock overnight or every few days, so that it reduces inventory at the retail level. That is now moving back where the distribution centers are now getting connected electronically with their first tier suppliers. And those first tier suppliers can see what's going on in the stores. So they know what the demand is, and they negotiate reorder points so that the manufacturer knows that when this item reaches this point, they're gonna get an order, so they can prepare for it. The same thing now, where things are is companies are working on getting a little bit further back into the supply chain. They're connected with the first tier suppliers, but those suppliers now need to get electronically connected to their suppliers, and then ultimately the raw material suppliers, so that we have complete supply chain visibility, and we're not making anything unless we have an order for it. So going from this make to stock environment, which was supported very well by an MRP, a materials requirement planning system, those don't work so well in a make to order environment. So when we go to make to order, we have to switch to what is called production activity control. And it's a whole different process. We have to kind of change the way we do business. And that's what we teach in the production planning class, getting ready for this transition to complete supply chain visibility. We have the next most popular course we have is a warehouse management course, and we teach warehouse best practices on how to maintain your warehouse using ABC classifications. We recommend people get what's called a labor management module for their ERP, and the labor management module uses barcodes so that every action that occurs in the warehouse or on the production line is tracked by a barcode. So if in the production system, for instance, let's say you have a machine breakdown, well, when that happens, the operator is going to enter a barcode, entering a reason why that machine stopped working. Like it could be a jam, premature failure, something like that. All of those things are collected by the new systems, so that you can have a really good handle on what's going on in your production facility and in your warehouse. So those are our two most popular courses.
So in the broad context, this is AI living and breathing.
Well, you do need AI, because you've got so much data coming into those systems that it's too overwhelming for people to sit there and try to make sense of it. So the data is collected through, I mean, you've got probably in any given day, you've got thousands upon thousands of barcodes being entered, telling that system everything that's going on in the production facility, in the warehouse. Orders are coming into it. Accounts payable is using it. Accounts receivable is using it. So it's a massive amount of data. So you have to have the artificial intelligence systems in there to make sense of it, and then it takes all that information and puts it on a dashboard, so you can see what's going on within your facility at any given moment.
I love AI.
Oh, it's incredible. It is. It's absolutely incredible.
Elon Musk is not a big fan, though, as of a week or two ago.
Well, I understand where he's going, because I think AI does need to have some controls placed on it. You can't just let it run rampant, because then it starts to become invasive, and starts to interfere in our personal lives, and I don't think anybody wants that.
Mark, I'm just curious if in the production planning course you get into, without particularly recommending, but discussing the different suppliers of software that manufacturers can reach out to when they're looking at their ERP or their MRP or their PAC system.
Well, we do go over some of the products provided by a lot of the different software companies. We talk about the various 3D printing manufacturers. We do expose students to the market leaders, and at the end of the course, we give them a sheet that lists all the major suppliers of the different types of systems when the course is complete.
So you don't sell, I'm sorry, you don't sell software, you just recommend what might be best
Well,
practice.
we actually don't recommend anything. We make students available of what's out there, and then encourage them to because they need to find something. One of the biggest mistakes I see when I do consulting with manufacturers is the front office, senior management will investigate these ERPs, these different software systems, warehouse management systems, and they'll pick the one that they think is best. The problem with that is it may not work for the way that they do business. So one of the things that I strongly encourage everyone, if you're going to be buying new software or new hardware, make sure that you involve the people that are actually going to be using it, because they can alert you to, hey, this thing doesn't do what we need it to do, or if we get this, we got to change the way that we're doing things to accommodate this system, which is the last thing that you want. So the proper way to buy these things is to figure out, is to get your house in order, to get your practices down to the way that it works best for you, and then find software or hardware to support it, not the other way around, which is a huge mistake.
Our primary business, All Metals and Forge Group, in 2004, we wanted to bring in a CRM type system, and what we found was that a lot of these systems, you have to run your business the way their program works.
Exactly, and
it
that's
didn't work.
That's backward of the way to do it. You
So
figure out
what
how
we-
you want to run your business and then find something that will support the way that you run your business. Because there are dozens and dozens of these things out there. You're definitely not locked into the one. Now, one of the best resources for finding these things is your trade association. If you're a member of a trade association, a lot of these associations have gone together and hired these companies to make a system that works for that particular trade.
Right, right. We had, when we were going through that, we determined in 2004 that there really wasn't anything out there that would help run our business. So we went through the incredible expense of creating our own in-house system that to this day, every month we're making alterations, fix this, add this. Can it do this? Yes, it can. If it can do this, can it do that? Remember that one, Tim?
You're famous for that.
Yeah, if it can do this, can it do that? And that winds up costing you a lot of money. But the good news is that we had AI before it became normal and commonplace.
Well, and that's the nice thing. If you purchase through a trade association, all of those development costs, all of the upgrade costs are all shared among the members that are using that system.
Right.
Most of these systems now operate in the cloud, where you don't have any on-site servers or anything like that to have to deal with.
Well, Mark, we are short on time and we really appreciate you sharing this with us. I think it's incredibly important that our listeners know how to get a hold of the Academy of Business Training. So what's your website address?
academyofbusinesstraining.com. Real tough to remember.
All right. Well, I want to thank everyone for listening to this episode. You can find us on Google Play, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, Rumble. We're getting out there all over the universe. So we appreciate everyone tuning in, and we look forward to chatting with you again next week on Manufacturing Talk Radio.
And thank you, Mark. I appreciate it as well.
Well,
Thank
thank you for the opportunity to share things with your audience.
Thank you very much.